We've decoded the intel from the Konami spy, and it confirms the worst. Somehow, Maliss returned. Wait, do we believe this? It cannot be! Whitebinder is dead! Generic combo slop. Secrets only the Schmidt knew. Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts! I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. Well, we've danced around it for as long as we could. After exhausting every single playable deck in the format, and some that aren't playable, it's time to face facts. Somehow, some way, Maliss is still topping. Let's take a look at a list and see if we can't figure out why. Presenting Maliss.
But I like it so far. I think it's cool.
So here's the list. Yun Zhao's runner-up deck from the Spain Open a week back. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Despite what some Yu-Gi-Tubers who shall not be named would have you believe, the TCG is alive and well. And if you're looking to start your journey into paper, there's no better place to begin than Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. With up-to-the-minute reporting on every major tournament worldwide, searchable and interactable pie charts and deck lists, and all the bells and whistles you've come to expect from one of the best draft and collection management sites on the net, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the place to be. Check it out today at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's mess with Maliss. Maliss is an archetype of Cybers monsters that, get this, perform an irritating amount of link summons before ending on a silly board littered with generics. The last of a dying breed of deck design, this deck's dominance was unquestionable, and its death was all but assured after Konami banned its best card in Maliss Whitebinder. But here we are. The deck's obviously still around. It looks pretty much identical to its previous iteration. They've basically traded Whitebinder for the guarantee that people won't be boarding Lancia anymore. Have we truly reached the end of history? Is there no way to excise this antiquated way of deck design from the modern era? Are we doomed to repeat these cycles of Cybers slop until Joshua Schmidt finally quits, thus breaking the simulation once and for all? I don't know. Let's see if we can get 8 minutes out of this one more time before then. So with that, let's get into the card by card. Really, no surprises here. We'll begin with the Malisses. 3 copies of Chessy Cat, 3 copies of March Hare, 2 copies of White Rabbit, 1 copy of Dormouse, and then our court-ordered extenders, Honorary Malices, Backup Adagnister, and Wizard Adagnister. We are playing 2 of the Malice in Underground, and 1 Terraforming to Find It, alongside 1 Malice in the Mirror, 2 Allure of Darkness, and a Gold Sarcophagus. For traps, we're on MTP and TB11, and then for non-engine, we are on 3 copies of Fualos, 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 2 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, and then Bestial Magnemite, Bestial Druisworm, Bestial Baldrake, Dimension Shifter, 3 Infip, and 3 Dominus Impulse. In the extra, we are on Haggard Lizardos, SP Little Knight, Dark the Dark Charmer, Gloomy, Transcode Talker, Decode Talker, Heat Soul, Access Code Talker, Allied Code Talker, Adagnister, Lingaribo, Solomon Great Almirage, Link Spider, Firewall Dragon, Link Disciple, Cybers Wicked, Red Ransom, and Hearts Cryptor in the side. We've got 2 copies of Retaliating 3, 3 Mulcharmy Perulia, Double Droll and Lockbird, 2 Nibiru the Primal Being, a Called by the Grave, and because apparently we're just building side decks the same way they do in Genesis these days, Double Mistaken Arrest and Triple Dimensional Fissure. So with that, let's check out a game. Our first match is up against Tenpai, and oh my god, it's like I never left 2024. We're going first. We're going to activate Gold Sarcophagus to banish a copy of Dormouse and trigger the effect of the Dormouse in the banished zone to summon itself, and activate its effect in order to banish a Chessy Cat. Chessy Cat to our side of the field, then let's go ahead and normal summon this Malice White Rabbit, activating its effect to set a copy of TB11. From here, we can activate the TB11, banishing the White Rabbit, get a copy of March Hare to our side of the field, and White Rabbit back to our field, after which we can go ahead and activate the Chessy Cat in order to draw a couple of cards. Malice banish the TB11, gets us the MTP-07 on our way to Wicked and Lingaribo. We'll trigger the effect of the Wicked in order to grab a backup Secretary Adagnister, then we'll activate the effect of the March Hare to grab it back to our grip as we make a Transcode Talker. Transcode bring back Wicked, and then from here we can link off for a Red Ransom to grab the field spell. Now that we've got 15 cards in our hand, let's go for backup Adagnister and grab a copy of Wiz from deck. That's going to enable us to link off for a Hearts Cryptor, trigger the effect of the Wiz in order to bring back this copy of White Rabbit, and then activate March Hare in order to bring this Red Ransom back to the field, summoning itself and grabbing a card to the banished zone as well. Here another March Hare. We'll go Firewall and Allied Code Talker Adagnister to summon back Red Ransom and Transcode Talker, set a copy of MTP and pass turn. Our opponent will draw Perulia, 1 card too late. They'll activate it, and then Harpy's Feather Duster, to which we will chain MTP-07. Afterwards, they are going to go ahead and special summon this copy of Ecclesia, activate the effect, and summon a copy of Fallen of Albaz. Okay, well, that's going to be Allied Code Talker Adagnistered, and we'll trigger the effect of the Lingaribo as well. Afterwards, we're going to normal summon a Pydra. We'll activate March Hare in order to banish the Hearts Cryptor, and then we will, of course, activate the effect of the Hearts Cryptor in order to summon it to our side of the field. They're going to Shining Sark, which is cute, but of course we can Firewall Dragon and Hearts Heart's Cryptor here in order to banish the Shining Sarcophagus. We'll bounce back the Pydra, they'll go Kaimen, we'll Ash Blossom, and that should be all she wrote. They'll just scoop it up. So that's how the deck performs on the play, but what does it do on the draw? Well, for game 2, our opponent's playing Sulfachord Yummy, a really interesting strategy. They're going to begin with a copy of Piri Rice Map, and then followed up with a Sulfachord Happiness. That is definitely worth an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, but hey, Cupsy Yummy can get you pretty far. We will activate Fuelos, but they have an Ash Blossom, so we are going to have to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Here today. They are going to activate the effect and go into a Snatchy, trigger the effect of the Snatchy in order to grab a Mignon, activate the effect of the Mignon. That's a perfect Bestial target, but they have the Yummy Surprise, which means they can just summon it back anyway. Afterwards, they're going to be able to Synchro Offer a Cupsy Yummy way and get everything they're missing. They're going to pitch one of these 2 effect Veilers, then summon out the Marshmallow, activate the effect in order to cycle back the Surprise and special out the Cookie. From here, they'll make Masquerena, set a Surprise, and pass. This is still a pretty powerful board. We're going to begin with White Rabbit, activate the effect into a Veiler, and we just don't have protection for it. I guess we can go into Link Disciple and then trigger the effect of the backup Adagnister. We can Baldrake targeting the Link, but of course they can Yummy Surprise in order to bring it back. That means they're still going to be able to resolve the effect of their monster, grabbing Cuppy and Cookie as we go for the effect of backup Adagnister. Cupsy is going to add, and Cookie, unfortunately, is going to pop our Link Disciple. We will send this copy of backup to the graveyard as they go Yummy Snatchy in order to make Cookie Yummy Way, and then we get the March Hare to our side of the field and trigger the effect of the White Rabbit. They are going to be able to trigger the effect of the Yummy Way to book our board. They can activate Masquerena here in order to make an SP Little Knight and activate the effect in order to banish the White Rabbit after we've already used the effect. Okay, that'll be the entire turn. We'll scoop it up. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's on Vanquish Soul Canine, and we are going second. They're going to begin with a copy of Vanquish Soul Dr. Mad Love. That will grab them the map. They'll set the map, Vanquish Soul Start, then activate the effect targeting the Mad Love in order to grab a Holly Sue. From here, they'll Caesar, targeting the Mad Love and Holly Sue, revealing to summon itself, then Xiao Longing from hand. Afterwards, they're going to activate the Xiao Long, revealing 2 fires, to which we will chain both the Ash Blossom and the Fuelos, and they will chain the Ash Blossom. Scary stuff. Okay, well, Holly Sue allows them to special from deck. I guess I'll imperm this, but from here it feels like a cold comfort. Down comes Ripper, and suddenly everything we could do is turned off anyway. They're going to go Rocket the Vanquisher in order to grab a Vanquish Soul monster, then they'll Yokel, revealing that Holly Sue so they can summon both the Yokel and the Holly Sue. Yokel effect in order to grab an Izuna, and unfortunately I have activated a card in hand, which means they can activate the Izuna to send a copy of Lupus. They'll make Nash Knight and pass turn. Pretty low impact board here, but it has about 1,000,000 points of interaction. We'll go March Hare, and they're just going to take it. Rocket the Vanquisher afterwards, we can Bestial Druis Worm in order to banish the Yokel and get something on our side of the field, but it doesn't accomplish anything, so we'll scoop. So it's time for game 2, and who is still boarding Lancia? I mean, really? Okay, it's actually pretty common, but I do want to whine. They're going to activate it in the draw phase. We're going to set a copy of TB11 and pass. Well, there we go. They're going to go for a Stake Your Soul, and I feel like the only way we win this game is if they have absolutely nothing here. Thankfully, they do. We'll go for the TB11 at end step. They will Ash it, but I have one more trick up my sleeve. We'll draw for turn, and it is a Lure of Darkness time. It's not totally blind, but thankfully we do find a Maliss White Rabbit. We'll summon it to our side of the field, then activate the effect in order to set an MTP07. Afterwards, we'll link off for a Lingaribo and activate the effect of the backup Adagnister in our hand in order to get us to a Dormouse. We'll activate the effect of the Dormouse in order to banish a Chessie Cat, then Chessie to our side of the field. Afterwards, we will link off for a Red Ransom, trigger the effect in order to grab Mouse in the Mirror and banish it with Chessie Cat in order to draw a couple of copies of Dimensional Fissure. Next, we'll link off for an Access Code Talker. We'll activate the effect. We'll go for Bestial Magnamut, targeting our opponent's monster in graveyard, triggering the Bestial Magnamut, and you know what? Let's trigger the March Hare too. We'll force battle because this is lethal. They have to Nibiru, but we're still in a great position. We'll trigger the effect of the March Hare, use its effect to get itself back, and then pass turn. We'll resolve the Bestial Magnamut, and they will draw for turn. That's unfortunately not going to do it. They'll go to the battle phase and walk over the token, and then scoop it up. So it's time for that all-important game 3, and... well, 3 pieces of non-engine. Surely we can do it from here. We're going to begin by trying the Perulia. They unfortunately have a called by for it, so we have not only lost our ability to draw cards, we have turned on their Izuna. They will activate the effect. We will infinite impermanence it, and I'm just hoping they don't have another one. They'll go for Rhoda. We have an Ash Blossom to check it, but sadly we have 2 cards in hand, meaning they can still normally Izuna and go Ripper. This allows them to get a copy of Lantern from deck to hand. They'll activate the Lantern, summoning back an Izuna, then activate the Lantern effect on field in order to grab a case for K9, case for the 3rd Izuna for my turn, then overlay for Nash Knight. This is probably enough. This deck is just so normal summon reliant. We will normal summon White Rabbit and set a copy of TB11. Afterwards, we'll activate TB11, banishing the White Rabbit for a Dormouse. We'll activate the effect of the White Rabbit in order to summon it to our side of the field. Next, we'll go Link Disciple. They will Nash Knight in order to take the Link Disciple, and we just have to pass. Okay, well, so we're back with the deck, and maybe I just don't know how to play this. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, the end board still wins the game. White or not, it's got an Omni Negate, a Spell Trap, and 2 non-targeting banishes while you draw, like, 4 cards. 2, you get some little bonuses from being in the attributes you are. You're a shifter deck, you're an impulse deck, there's really only so much players can do to play around that. And 3, post-board, you've got an incredible chance to see sideboard hate, given that the mainline combo draws so many cards. I can't remember the last time Maliss was favored post-board. And the cons. 1, hands that start Banish Dormouse feel fucking awful. If you've got too much engine, you can really lack plays as you've got kind of limited extension. 2, the deck is still really weak into Fuelos, Meowls, and of course Lancia, though the latter is much less popular these days. And 3, it's really non-engine reliant to break boards. Even halfway built setups kind of wall the line. All in all, man, some people just don't know when to quit. So that's that. Thanks so much for watching. This entire ordeal wouldn't be possible without the consistent funding I get from my patrons, some of whom have paid a lot of money for me to say their name at the end of the video. So here's me doing that. Absolutely Fran, Elena Tincher, Allison Elliott, Ally, APK Pearly Tier 0, Brett Henry, Broski TCG, Cap, Cool Name, Dark Rebel XYZ, DJ Elefante, El Gravo, Emiliano Deverio, NB Adams, Fabrizio Petroli, Hergalicious, Jackie Z, James Place, JP, Cole Offline, Creature, Legal Rights, Lucas Rosas, Luis Hernandez, Master Key 090, Matthew M. Derezo, MBT Hablando en Español, MBT Plema Dolce, Mike Carlotti, N54 Lionheart, Nacho, Pombo, Pyramid Artisan Field Cloths and TCG Accessories, Rancer My Thing, Rohan Doge, Rose Lapine, Serpentax, Shifter.mp8, Sly Ninja 43, Susie's Strongest Soldier, Troy Says By Erasure Is Gay, Uznik, Yuki Kazami, and Zircon Sun. Couldn't have done it without you.